All lies will be exposed.
Hey guys, a little bit closer than normal, and I guess I look a little bit pinkish. I guess I gotta fix the audio. So this is just a quick system that I had to put together with sacrifice to the blood god. Hope all of you can hear me. First of all, 10 by 10. Can you guys hear me? 10 by 10, 10 by 10, 10 by 10, 10 by 10, or 5 by 5, 5 by 5. Can you guys hear me? 1 2 1 2. Check check check. This is what you call a quick rigged system. Okay. And so, Old Man Barker, Pam K36, I'm going to trust you guys as being the people saying yes. I'm also getting more and more. Gigantic Kit is gigantic. Well, thank you so much. That's what all the ladies say all the time, every time. First of all, we got some trolls here in the Kick chat. I don't know why they're telling me that I need to do some more stuff here. So there you go. But yes, I am gigantic. And you get me up close and personal. So there you go. Love to see you guys. First of all, I demand a bloodbath revolution. Kurt Boss. Everybody. Cool. So first of all, I apologize for a lack of a morning show. But something understandably out of my control took place, and what happened was that there was a hard drive failure, and in that I wake up usually like around 5:30, 5:45, try and set up my rig, my whole computer system, have all the show notes set up for you guys, our viewers. And after all, you guys, our patron supporters, our viewers and subscribers, you keep us alive on the show, and, you keep our costs down low, and you keep us around. And look, I will never forget what all of you have done for us way back in 2024 when our channel got terminated and we've been dealing with all the BS. So, as many attempts as I did, it finally came down to realization, especially after talking to one of my team members about what was wrong with the computer. And that is that we just couldn't solve this over text message and over the phone. I had to take it into a repair guy. So, money is pretty tight. So, let's face it, I have to, make the sacrifices necessary because you guys keep the show happening. And with everything that we've been dealing with, pretty much Mama Cabello came by and said, Kit, tell the people you're not doing a show. Don't just make excuses. Go out, do what you need to do, and they will understand. So, everyone give a shout out to Mama Cabello for the extra inspiration. So had to carry out my rig, and pretty much the prognosis is it's going to take 2 or 3 days to repair the system. So so this is how the show's going to look. And so there won't be edited clips. It'll just only be the live stream. So everyone gets to tune in, and usually I leave the live streams available only for patron supporters and, for the people who, keep the show alive. So, so that's what's happening. So my mistake, got to keep an eye on your stuff, make sure everything's always backed up, and maybe, maybe always have an extra computer just in case, because you never know. But I'm not being censored, and no, this was not an attack. This was all more of a mechanical error. Maybe perhaps AI did not like the fact that I was talking about AI, and that's what happened to the hard drive. So it's going to be like this for maybe 3 or 5 days, up close with Kit Cabello. You see my pretty little face here. So there you go. But also get ready for the censorship that's coming. Oh, did you only think I was going to talk about the computer? Oh, no. Danny says disc erectile dysfunction. Well, there's no dysfunction with yours truly, but the computer did have a became a floppy drive system. So there you go, became floppy. Also, Kurt Boss says, sorry, I'm so sick of being censored to death. Don't worry, no one's being censored. Myra Page, Myra, we love you so much. There you go. Pam K, yes, hi, Mama C. Let's see. Kurt Boss says, Kit, you are the true boss of social media. Well, I try to be. I try to be. So yes, there's a whole new system that's being set up here. This is all like from my old laptop and a few other things. So yes, hopefully the computer does not explode, because usually it's not rigged up like this. And Sunshine Lollipop says Windows 95 is pretty good. Oh, it always has been pretty good. Let's see. And Pam Bondi really soiled herself with respect to the U.S. Constitution. World-class fraud. Kit, pan checks. I'm wearing shorts. Okay, there, everybody. I'm wearing shorts today. No kilt, no pants. I'm wearing shorts. Okay, this was one of those off days where it's like, holy cow, I had to drive all over the place. And I just had to get out of my jeans. No. And you know what? No, there will be no shorts. Okay. No. Yes. It's finally happened. This is how you know I've hit rock bottom. This is how you know I hit rock bottom. This is how you know I hit rock bottom. Like, oh, Kit's wearing shorts today. Yes, I am wearing shorts today. But look, it's everyone's favorite shirt. It's a Cat Fancy shirt. So there you go. Yes. Anyways, yes, this was, I was driving all over downtown. Well, not over downtown. I just had to make a couple round trips. And yeah, I had to get my computer fixed, had to get some other things here too. Let's see those legs. Come on, Kit. Hey. I ain't cheap. You want to help out? Hey, you want to make me dance? Let me go ahead and dance for the GoFundMe. So there you go. Okay, so there you go. Yes, and Kit does have good genes. And a boss. A little bit of a update, everybody. Since my family's been visiting, guess what show they're actually watching now for the first time? The Sopranos. Do you have any idea how many jokes I have to keep quiet because they're watching The Sopranos now? Yes, Mama Cabello, after all of these years, is now watching The Sopranos. My stepfather is now watching The Sopranos for the first time ever. I can't wait till we get to season 2, season 3. My favorite episodes is Pinewoods. And I can't say anything because I know they're walking around out there right now. So I'm not gonna say anything. So there you go. Late Night with Kit live. Absolutely. You are late night with me. Absolutely. You should be. It's a me, Sarah P. It's a me, Sarah P. First of all, I cannot thank you enough for retweeting out our GoFundMe and your kind words, especially on how we have stood up against the online, well, I guess the ridiculous BS that we're in. It's a me, Sarah P. I know you're right now in the Kick chat, but to everyone that's watching, because right now we're only live on YouTube and Kick. I'm only going to have those 2 live streams open. Just it's been you know, it's been a little bit of a crazy day today. Trans Gemini, we love you. Let's see. Hold on, what else we got here? Want to make sure we got everybody here. So yes. So the system, yes, it can be repaired. It's just, you know, the hard drive just, okay. So everyone who's wondering, yes, there was a big shutdown with the hard drive. The hard drive got all floppy and soft. So that's what happened. That's what happened to the hard drive. What else we got here? Cobra Commander, good to see you. Juan Alba, good to see you. Kit, you, me, Texas, because we got you and Mrs. Cabello. Oh, well, we love you, man. There you go. And I hope No, Casey, we're not talking about Adriana and the Woods. We're talking about the Pine Woods episode where Paulie and Christopher, who cries in the car. Okay, that's not the best Andrea impression, but I knew one of my fellow Marines who could actually really do a convincing Andrea. All right, Christopher, why are you crying in the car? All right. Anyways. Late Night with Kit, absolutely. But folks, listen, this would not be Hardlands Media if we did not And I mean, if we did not have some fun times here. Casey McIver, oh, love you so much. There you go. And did you spell Christopher's girlfriend name right? I think so. Maybe you did. Maybe you did. It's okay. I'll let it slide. I'll let everything slide. But I think it's only fair now, my lovelies, my evenings, my moons, the people who make Hard Lens Media live and direct. Hail to the Queen Mother. That's right. It's me, Sarah P. That I do address something. Jesus, Richie Appeal. Yeah, those don't give me those Manson eyes. And see, salute. Yeah, we got you. You know what, CB Applejack? I definitely want to have you back on. Whatever big story you're working on, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to have you on. Okay. I'm more than happy to have you on. So is there going to be an evening dump? Well, right now, folks, the show is going to be a little bit more sleeker and faster. Because again, I don't want to put too much pressure on this current temporary system that I have. So, next thing I need is another computer to blow up on me, and I don't need that right now. So, yeah. Like I said, when it rains, it pours. I think I'm being tested. If it's God's plan to test me, please, look, just give me a passing grade. I want all the bullshit to end. Anyways, so let's go ahead and get started with, I guess, our evening segment of the day. And I think it's only fair that I do talk about it a little bit. So, let's go ahead and pull this up here. All right. And just give me a minute because I got to get used. I'm used to my older system. I'm used to the older system here. So let's go ahead and pull this up here. So as you all could see, and hopefully you guys, maybe I'll have to zoom in just a little bit more. So we all know with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, there's been a huge uproar between the left and the right. And, nothing I say here is going to make anyone satisfied or happy. As I have made it very clear here, I despise the actions that happened towards Charlie Kirk. I do not celebrate his death. In fact, when I found out about it after the live stream on Wednesday, thanks to a viewer who informed me of the update an hour after that live stream was done, that Charlie Kirk passed away, I fell into despair because I dreaded to think of what would happen next. And if you remember, if everyone remembers what I talk about on my live streams a lot, it is online censorship and suppression. So first of all, here's the thing. Some of the posts I have seen about Charlie Kirk are on target towards defamation and smearing. Others are just mean, hurtful attacks. Nonetheless, it's just, this is something that, the Kirk family is probably going to be doing. So the Kirk family and Turning Points USA are preparing defamation lawsuits against media outlets and figures who smeared Charlie Kirk after his assassination. So Turning Point spokesperson Andrew Colbert said on a podcast with Sky Jennings, we are seeing it all and logging it all. We have good lawyers. So, okay. If that's what they're going to be doing, fine. I guess this was to be expected. But another thing that has me concerned and has me frightened, and if you remember what I talked about during the Wednesday live stream, was this. Hiding behind Kirk, Team Trump launches biggest assault on the First Amendment in modern history. So I know right now there's a lot of groups out there that are going after people who have not said anything negative about Charlie Kirk. We've been seeing this huge pushback against the left. And have there been accounts that have been wrongly smearing and celebrating Charlie Kirk's death? Oh, absolutely. But what I feared, what I was concerned about, is the overall massive witch hunt in which then there could be more online suppression, more online censorship. Now, I have given these warnings before in the past, most notably with the actions of one Hassan Piker, who has definitely added a lot of gasoline to the fire, and the actions of Twitch. Nonetheless, what we are witnessing here, is, especially from the president, is that him and his administration have been signaling that they are planning to use the assassination of Charlie Kirk as a justification for it to launch a broad campaign targeting their political opponents. So Trump advisor Stephen Miller on Monday singled out left-wing organizations that he basically alleged were promoting violence in the United States and said that the full weight of the federal government would soon come down on them. Okay, until it comes down on everybody. See, that's the thing. Because There are people who are being outrageous. There are people who are being mean. Hey, look, and guess what? You're right to your First Amendment, free speech. But now everything's gonna like a nail, and everyone's got a hammer. And I've been warning about this and warning about this and warning about this. And gee, look how convenient it all is. Yeah, so of course, folks, we are seeing the full on censorship. And the thing is, hold on, Steak says, sounds like the right is all about censorship, and like literally almost every one of them. Well, actually, I've seen my fair share of right-wing commentators too, who have also been saying, well, wait. We're really going to go after everyone? Because there are people I spoke to who are on the right who are not on board with the full-on warpath of censorship. So, and the thing is, if you're cheerleading this, just like I gave the warnings, a lot of these latte drinking liberals during the 2020 election cycle of Joe Biden getting elected, and during the height of the SJW crusades and censorship brigades that we saw from liberals from 2020 to 2024, I kept on warning, hey, you guys are riding on cloud 9 until it comes down on you. Remember just a few months ago when I covered a segment in which Donald Trump's administration said that they took apart Joe Biden's censorship machine and policies? I pressed X for doubt. Turns out I was right about that. There's no way they're going to dismantle that. So continue on. Shortly after this, Attorney General Pampani appeared on a podcast hosted by Miller's wife, Katie Miller, and vowed that the Justice Department will go after people who engage in hate speech against conservatives. There's free speech, and then there's hate speech, and there is no place, especially what happened to Charlie in our society. We will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech. Okay. Fine. Look, I'm not for hate speech. I don't like hate speech. Okay. I think that's something we can all universally agree. But the thing is, I remember a lot of latte drinking liberals saying the same thing too, and I kept on giving them the warning, like, hey, are you sure you want to implement the system like this? Because what if Donald Trump comes back into office? And what if the Republicans get the Senate and House? And what if, after all the times kicking them in the balls and something else and everything else in between, what happens if they get into power and something crazy happens? What if they drop that Uno reverse card? Oh, gee, kid, you sound like a Trumper. You don't know what you're talking about. Unsubscribe. Ha, I'm not going to listen to you. Oh, well, gee, turns out I was right about that, huh? Like the T-Rex getting out of Jurassic Park. I am Ian Malcolm, and I hate it when I'm right. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. So there you go. Let's see. Hold on. What else we got here? Kurt Boss is saying YouTube should be pulled off. Well, I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon, my friend. YouTube is not going to be being pulled off, and it won't be happening anytime soon. What else we got here? Let's see. Hold on. America runs on Duncan. CB Applejack, I have to agree. Can laws cancel the First Amendment in the U.S.? Just asking. Myra Page. First time watching Hard Lens Media? You silly goose. Don't you know First Amendment? What is that? It's just something in the Constitution. Doesn't matter anymore. What else we got here? Hold on. I want to see what else we got here. For all the people staying intact here. And by the way, Turning Points USA released a statement saying Charlie Kirk opposed hate speech laws. Yeah, that's the thing. I never knew Charlie Kirk. I don't know him. Never met him. Never talked to him. Never met anyone from Turning Point USA either. But I will say I don't think he would be on board for stuff like this. And even then, with South Park taking down that episode that was making a parody of Charlie Kirk, guess what? I don't think he'd like that. But then again, I don't think he'd like a lot of these things here. So apologies for that, folks. Anyways, but let's continue on. Going further, because this article then goes on to talk about the defamation settlement between Disney and Donald Trump. Ro Khanna posted a video on social media in which he warned that Trump and his administration were engaging in the biggest assault on the First Amendment in our country's modern history, just like how Joe Biden did. He then pointed out statements made by Vice President J.D. Vance, Stephen Miller, and Bondi, and he encouraged his supporters to be willing to confront dangers to American liberty. Oh, really? Now you want everyone to step up. This is a time where every American must stand proudly for free speech and our freedoms. That is not, when a Democrat was in office, hard lens media got kicked in the stomach so many freaking times. God damn it, man. Now the Democrats are like, oh, what about the First Amendment? Well, yeah. Yeah, what about free speech and the ability to speak your mind? Now, I'm not saying there aren't any consequences, okay? Because I've seen my fair share of deplorable actions from the left and on the right, from conservatives and from liberals. And here it is, the Uno reverse card, and I don't like what's coming down our way. I don't. And I encourage anyone that if you are a free speech absolutist, look, I know that what happened to Charlie Kirk was wrong. It was unjust. I wish he survived. God almighty, do I wish he survived. I did not want to see that man pass away, but yet here we are. And in turn, now you got people capitalizing on this. You've got politicians capitalizing on this. And in turn, what's going to be left at the altar? Our First Amendment. I'm not saying I called this, but I remember from 2020 all the way up to 2024 from people who I used to associate with, random friends, colleagues. I just kept saying, hey, something evil this way comes. It's all starting to pile up. We got to get ready for this, guys. It's coming. I was the crazy guy in the movies. And now here I am, the crazy guy saying it happened. But I want to give a shout out to one of my colleagues, Nick from RBN. This was a really interesting statement in which he pulled up here.
Did Israel murder Charlie Kirk? According to reporting by the Gray Zone, Candace Owens, and a few others with close ties to Charlie Kirk, he feared for his life after making criticisms of Israel. This would be a perfect example of chickens coming home to roost. For years, Charlie Kirk supported the political assassination of Palestinians by the state of Israel. If you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Charlie Kirk's criticism.
Pam K, you don't know what the Uno reverse card is? Well, Uno is such a fun card game, but the Uno reverse card is when you drop it down and your opponent has to play another card. So you reverse it right back to them to play their turn.
Of the state of Israel wasn't even rooted in sympathy of the Palestinian people. He was just upset that Zionists were censoring Americans. This one small criticism was enough for Charlie Kirk to draw the ire of the Zionist billionaires who actually run this country. And according to reporting by the Gray Zone, Charlie Kirk got into heated arguments with these billionaire donors who wanted to ban Tucker Carlson from attending Turning Point USA events.
If I have...
Oh, hold on. There was a super chat given to me, so let me acknowledge this. CB Applejack, you tipped $5. Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza. UN report finds Israel is finally found as a genocidal state per official report. Yes, I even saw this on NHK. That is one of the media outlets in Japan, but I've also been watching this all over social media too. Yes. I think after seeing Gaza being turned into a moonscape throughout all of half of 2024, I think it's fair enough to say what was happening to the men, women, and children in Gaza is pretty much barbaric. And, I think we could all universally, great. The international community finally caught up. Better late than never. They finally caught up. What took you so long? One must wonder. See, again, that's where I have to go ahead and state that Bassem Youssef was right. Nobody cares. The politicians are still letting it happen.
Any deviation of a purity test, any deviation whatsoever, such as hosting a focus group, having Dave Smith or Tucker at my event, it is all of a sudden, oh, Charlie is he's no longer with us and all that. So wait a second, what do you mean? What is?
Hold on, I'm gonna rewind this video here, but first of all, as usual, Kit is right. Here's the thing. I want to be wrong. Okay? This whole thing about this online censorship that's coming our way, Do you have any? I would love it. I would love it if all of you be like, Kit, you silly goose, you're getting all crazy about censorship. See, everything's fine. What you worried about? I would love it if you guys would type that. Really, I would. I'd give you, like how viewers give their favorite content creators super chats? I'd give all of you super chats. I'd buy that for $1. I would love it. But sadly, I think it's definitely going to be a no bueno. I think I am unfortunately and regrettably correct about this. See, that's the difference between me and Cenk Uygur. Cenk Uygur would be like, oh, look at me, I was right. Me, oh God, I was right. Oh God, I was right. Oh God, I was right. I don't want to be right. I want to be wrong.
Ire of the Zionist billionaires who actually run this country. And according to reporting by the Gray Zone, Charlie Kirk got into heated arguments with these billionaire donors who wanted to ban Tucker Carlson from attending Turning Point USA events.
If I have any deviation of a purity test, any deviation whatsoever, such as hosting a focus group, having Dave Smith or Tucker at my event, it is all of a sudden, oh, Charlie is he's no longer with us and all that. So wait a second, what do you mean? What does with us mean exactly, right? Mm-hmm. I'm an American, okay? Like I represent this country. And to be fair, some of my really good Jewish friends are like, that's not all of us, it's all, but these are leaders too though, right? These are stakeholders, right? And so, look, I'm afraid.
All this alone would be a non-story, but it has been reported by multiple confidants close to Charlie Kirk that he told them that he felt like he was going to be killed by the state of Israel. Meanwhile, a few weeks later, he gets smoked. Now we have the ruling class in both parties who are advocating for a free speech crackdown and increased online censorship, the exact thing that the Israelis wanted.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society. We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech.
And what could be defined as hate speech? Because here's the thing. Those latte drinking liberals during the Biden years, they were saying the same rhythm and rhyme, going after a lot of conservatives, libertarians, and yes, progressives. I mean, my goodness. I mean, how many... You guys know Harlan's Media. We're the 9-time heavyweight champions, man. Look at what we've been through. All the terminations, shadow banning, demonetization. I mean, Larry Sharp said, I think I'm the most canceled man on in regards to his guests being on his show. I'm pretty sure there's been other people who have higher counts, higher body counts, no pun intended, of being canceled and censored and suppressed. But I mean, come on. You know, when you survive your first one, it's like, woo, I survived it. But like a movie that keeps on getting a sequel after a sequel after a sequel, it gets old real freaking fast.
Anything, and that's across the aisle.
Isn't it interesting that the murder of Charlie Kirk seems to help Israel in every single way? The government is already using this as an excuse to crack down on the left and pro-Palestinian organizations. How convenient for Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu.
Some of the internet rumors that somehow Israel is behind the Charlie Kirk murder, and I don't believe it for 1 second, but I want you to make a statement. It's so absurd.
That's insane. Israel also changes the orbit of the moon. Israel pushes the sun. I mean, the whole thing it's not only insane, I think it's so absurd, so stupid, and so ridiculous. You can't believe that people are saying that. They just found the perpetrator. They'll get to the bottom of this. But they go, they have no limits. When you hate Jews, when you hate the Jewish state, you're willing to say anything and promote all these absurd rumors.
How convenient is it for Donald Trump and Israel that the death of Charlie Kirk got Jeffrey Epstein out of the news cycle for this. It's crazy to me that white people are about to allow Israel to get away with this because they hate the far left so much and they are desperate to pin this on them.
So what could go wrong? Well, as someone who has survived his fair share of censorship, and for those who are brand new in the independent media cycle, or either that you just got started, well, welcome to what's called the first wave. Now, what does the first wave look like? Well, this reminds me of in the aftermath what happened on January 6th. Now, after January 6th, I mean, there was roundhouse kicks to a lot of us in the independent media sphere. Now, most of us were getting hit with the COVID-19, guidelines, because you couldn't talk about the vaccination, you couldn't talk about the virus, you couldn't talk about anything. But after January 6th, that was a big one. And that's when it all started going downhill. Now, this in particular, this one's going to be a different kind of first wave because it's gigantic. There's a lot of ramifications. First of all, the public shooting of a very high-profile, prolific commentator. And you know what? Condolences again to his wife and family and his colleagues and his fellow workers. None of this should have happened in the first place. And I wish that there was an absolute different outcome to that horrific Wednesday afternoon in that Utah college campus. But, we cannot turn back time, and $1 billion cannot buy back a second. So regardless, we are now always pushing forward. You can always what if, but you cannot what if the past, because the past is now already done and the ink is dry. So what happens next? Well, unfortunately, we are seeing the administration quickly react towards putting in more regulation and guidelines into the online community sphere. Now, I can make the argument that that system is already in place. And what I do fear is that there are going to be people, regardless, going to flag and take down anyone that they don't like, period, and can make all sorts of accusations. I mean, we've never seen an Inquisition get out of hand like the French Inquisition, the Spanish Inquisition, because nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Oh, and the Imperial Inquisition, but they never do anything wrong. Never doubt the Imperial Inquisition. But I'm joking here. I'm joking. Well, am I or not? But that's what can happen. And how do I know that? Can I see that happening from the right, going after anyone, including fellow right-wing commentators? Yeah, I could see it happen because I saw liberals and leftists do that in 2020 throughout all of 2024. There's no denying that that is something that took place. It did take place. These were actions that I saw firsthand. And even when fellow independent progressive outlets like Hardlands Media or any other were taken down, it was met with celebration. And I fear that was what happened to Charlie Kirk. We're going to see a more intensified version of it. Hold on. And what else are we seeing here? I want to make sure I'm also engaging with the audience too. Let's see. Hold on. Want to make sure I get most of the audience. Shout out. Thank you, Sean the Accord Lord. Nothing but love. Let's see what else we got here. Soviet era lawfare. Yeah, not going to argue. Not going to argue back. And of course, I cannot control this. YouTube puts ads on top of their ads. I wish I could fix that. Unfortunately, I think it's, let's see. Cobra Commander says, I only allow you to say this silly stuff, Kit. Cobra Commander, and for that, I am grateful. Thank you. Thank you very much. And what else we have here? I want to make sure that we have everyone else here. And also, Pam Bondi was Florida Attorney General when Epstein got his sweetheart deal in Florida. Let's see. And what else we have here? Tom McGee pushes the sun. Yes. Who pushes the sun? Well, that's the Egyptian gods. I think it's Ra that pushes the sun. There you go. I think that's the only one who I know. Let's see. And what computer is melting down other than mine? Well, too late. Hardlands Media had a Chernobyl. So there you go. What else we have here? And let's see. It's called being an opportunist. Absolutely. And I think the lady does protest too much. Absolutely. And hold on. Want to make sure we got the rest of the audience here. Because, audience engagement is key. Teddy G, because YouTube doesn't make enough money. I roll. Well, gee, I wish YouTube would be more kind to its content creators. That would be ever so nice. Really, it would. Let's see. And Marvin Vargas says, Kit, any thoughts on Matt Taibbi? He flipped on Gaza. Maybe Zio called him. Okay. In regards to my opinion towards Matt Taibbi and his change towards Gaza, I mean, his answers were lackluster in my opinion. I didn't really think that pretty much he had any substance behind it. I would have maybe expected a little bit more from him, but at this point, especially with him being called out by due dissidents and then in turn responding back to them, I think we got our answers, folks. And in this business, I'll lay it down flat. Don't have heroes. You got to be your own hero. You got to be your own champion. You got to be your own knight on the hill. And I think this community has shown me, and I'll tell you this. You know what I like from this community? You guys are my heroes. Okay? Not the other way around. I get people saying, thank you for doing the show, kid. Thank you for doing the show. Oh, no. Thank you, everyone, for maybe reattaching my heartstrings and giving me faith in humanity. So there you go. That's what I like. That's what I like. And, well, Sunshine Lollipops, thank you for the kind generosity and the $50 super chat. You did not have to do that, but I am very grateful for the solidarity, love, and support. So thank you. There you go. Thank you. Thank you so much. And Gray Walker joined third party. Semper Fi, my fellow Marine brother. I do see your message, but because of YouTube and everything else that's going on here, I'll just say the self-deletion. But you know what? No one wants to self-delete. All right. And by the way, what else? Okay. You heard it here, folks. I'm Kit's hero. Now give me some of that lotto money. I wish I was a lottery winner. Roger Meadows, I curse you. I curse you for making that urban legend become a thing. Because if I was a lotto winner, I'd have a second computer on ready. I'd have a lot of things. Old man Barker laughing at my pain. All right, there you go. But first, I also want to bring up something else here. Because, hey, I still got a little bit of an evening show here. And I can do whatever I want. Why? Because it is my show. So there you go. So this is an article that came out yesterday, and I know Due Dissidents talked about it, and I want to bring it up here too. So it has to do with the fact that billionaire Bill Ackman convened a stormy Israel intervention with Charlie Kirk, sources say. So this is an article from the Gray Zone. I think it's only fair that we talk about this. So on September 11th, one day after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, billionaire pro-Israeli moneyman Bill Ackman took to Twitter to trumpet his relationship with the late conservative operative. I feel incredibly privileged to spend a day and shared a meal with Charlie Kirk this summer. He was a giant of a man. And there's no denying it. At the age of 31, father of two, created a large business, and yes, made himself a high-profile political pundit and speaker in these turbulent, dangerous, insane times. And unfortunately, I think we can all now come to an agreement that the bigger you become, the more pressure is put upon you. So the Gray Zone has spoken to 5 people with intimate knowledge of Kirk's meeting with Ackman, which was held in early August. The month's named after Augustus. According to one source, Kirk was left upset after the gathering turned into an intervention where he was hammered for his increasingly skeptical views of the U.S. relationship with Israel and for platforming prominent conservative critics of Israel at his Turning Point USA events. Which I would have to say, look, I have dealt with smaller versions of this, very minuscule when it came down to speaking to the activist communities here in Chicago, when Harlan's Media started off, where we had these experts tell me and Daniel who we can interview and who we cannot interview, what opinions we should have and not have, or, oh, if you have this opinion, you're not invited. Yeah. It sucks when you sit down to that. I only can imagine that what Charlie Kirk went through, if this is true, was a billion times worse. Since publishing this report, the Gray Zone has learned that from one attendee from the Hamptons, get fancy, event that Ackman convened, the influencers under the auspices of a discussion about Zohar Mandani and the supposed threat he posted to West if elected mayor of New York, but the meeting went off the rails when Ackman personally confronted Kirk about his views on Israel. The public face of UK Lawyers for Israel, Natasha Hazaroff, joined in the argument and began screaming at Kirk, according to the attendee. Why would you want to yell at him? When his host presented him with a detailed list of every offense he supposedly committed against Israel, Kirk was horrified, said one person. Ackman also allegedly demanded Kirk rescind his invitation for Tucker Carlson to speak at his upcoming America Fest 2025 in December. The whole thing was a disaster, said an attendee. Well, Kirk can invite whoever he wants. That's it. Simple as that. But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. As someone who sat through meetings in which people show their true faces and become snakes, I'm pretty sure that would leave anyone shooken up. You know, just even hearing this makes me angry. Hey, are you guys shocked though that this happened to Kirk? Allegedly, type 1 for I am shocked, Kit. Shock. Type 2, no, dude, I'm not shocked, man. And I'm pretty sure there are a lot of other people that have a similar story in one form or another. The Gray Zone reported on September 12th, citing a longtime associate of Kirk, that Netanyahu had offered to organize a massive infusion of pro-Israeli money into Turning Point USA, and that Kirk refused. Another longtime friend of Kirk has told the Gray Zone that the conservative activist also rejected an offer Netanyahu delivered 2 weeks before his death to meet with him in Jerusalem. Kirk, according to one person with inside knowledge of the meeting with Ackman, said he left feeling as though he'd been subjected to blackmail. Oh, man. That's never good. In a series of text messages with the Gray Zone, Ackman described Dee's account of his meeting with Kirk as totally false. He pledged to release a public statement providing his own account of the event, but refused the Gray Zone's request for clarification or further details. He would not accept phone calls from this reporter. I think I can easily put this to bed. Ackman promised I have receipts, as they say. He did not abide when asked to provide the so-called receipts. In an apparent bid to reinforce the pro-Israeli tone at the Hamptons meeting, Ackman hosted a cadre of pro-Israeli operatives and conservative influencers at the off-the-road engagement. One was Instagram influencer Xavier DeRose from PragerU. Reached by the phone by the Gray Zone, the Rusu sounded flustered when asked about his presence at the meeting. He repeatedly demanded to know how this reporter obtained his number and eventually hung up, refusing to answer questions about the event. Well, all right. Drinking champagne, looking cat fancy. Hey, I'm not going to hate on anybody. You're going to look nice, do it nice, right? 2 weeks after the meeting, DeRussa was reportedly junketed on an all-expenses paid trip by the Israeli government to visit the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation aid hub guarded by the IDF on the Gaza frontier. There, he recorded an Instagram video denying the population of the besieged Gaza Strip was experiencing famine. CB Applejack, this one's for you. I guess, hey, the United Nations already said, hey, this is going on here. There's famine, starvation, war, genocide. We don't say the G word here anymore, do we? We don't do that here anymore, my honeys, my lovelies. We don't do that, right? Anyways, I mean, who would expect it? But wait, there's more. There's a lot more. The Gray Zone received a similar agitated response from Wilson, known online as Emily Saves America. Well, we all want to be Aurelian, don't we? Following a phone call and exchange of text messages in which this reporter asked her numerous times about her attendance of the meeting in the Hamptons, Wilson refused to comment. Instagram's photos of her placed in the Hamptons at the same time as DeRosu. There you go. CJ Pearson, a leading youth coordinator for the Republican National Committee, immediately referred the Gaza to his communications director when asked if he attended the Hamptons gathering. The strong arm tactics of the pro-Israeli billionaires who helped fuel the growth of Turning Point USA were said to have contributed to Kirk's alienation with evangelical Christianity, which emphasized uncritical support of Israel as a bedrock principle. Several sources with access to Kirk said he began attending Catholic Mass with his wife, Erica, and was considering a conversion before his death. So let's talk about the people so here's the list of attendees. So there's Seth Dillon, the CEO of Babylon Bee, Xavier DeRosa, who is employed by PragerU, and a premier right-wing edutainment hub targeting the minds of American youth. Okay, so there you go. I guess that's him in Gaza. All right. Emily Wilson, aka Emily Saves America. Well, Wilson is a Los Angeles-based self-described libertarian podcaster and social media influencer with 500K followers on the Instagrams. There you go. Let's see what else we got. Arnane Welker, a former Goldman Sachs trader. Oh, Goldman Sachs, gotta love him. Natasha Hudzoff, a legal director of Zionist advocacy group UK Lawyers for Israel. All right, we also got Nate Friedman. Friedman is a young ultra-Zionist influencer, best known for the New York City man-on-the-street confrontation with Palestinian solidarity activists, with whom he's accused of being paid protesters. We got Ori Rainette, who is a special media advisor. So there you go, Jared Kushner. We got C.J. Pearson, the chair of the Republican National Committee's Youth Advisory Council. Oh, look, okay, there's everyone looking cat fancy. What could go wrong? So there you go. And Bill Ackman's War. As the Gray Zone reported on September 12th, Kirk was besieged with angry calls and messages from pro-Israeli donors to his organization following Turning Point's USA Student Action Summit this July in Tampa, Florida. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had phoned him, according to a longtime friend of Kirk, and offered to orchestrate a massive infusion of pro-Israeli money into his organization. A longtime friend of Kirk told the Gray Zone that the mounting pressure had left him angry and frightened. Kirk vented about the pro-Israeli intimidation campaign in an August 6th discussions with Megyn Kelly, a former Fox News host, who was also growing more critical of Israeli influence in Washington. Just want to rewind back the clocks a little bit. Let's go ahead and do a YouTube rewind time. YouTube retime. Rewind. Rewind. If we remember way back in 2023 on the PBD podcast, Patrick Bet David, Charlie Kirk said some very interesting things in which I think we've might have forgotten about. But if they haven't deleted the videos yet, be sure to archive them. In which Charlie Kirk said, he found it suspicious that on October 7th, Israel was the fortified walls and watchtowers and cameras and Secret Service intelligence agencies, drones, helicopters, planes, spy planes, troops in the ground. How did he get caught off guard? Was there a stand-down order? And he got a lot of crap. Everyone forgets that. He got a lot of pushback. Harlan's Media, we even talked about it too. We did a segment about it. And it's very interesting. Because he did say it. Now, again, I'm not going to agree with everything else Charlie Kirk said afterwards. But he did say that. And man, talk about being slapped in the mouth. Wop, pop, pop, pop. Continued on, it's all of a sudden, oh, Charlie, he's no longer with us. Wait a second. What does with us mean exactly? I'm an American, okay? I represent this country. The more that you guys privately and publicly call our character into question, which is not isolated, it would be one thing if it were just one text or two texts. It is dozens of texts. Then we start to say, whoa, hold the boat here, Kirk continued. To be fair, some really good Jewish friends say, that's not all of us, but these are leaders here. These are stakeholders. No, not steak-eating steaks. Stakeholders. He went on, I have less ability to criticize the Israeli government than actual Israelis do. And that's really, really weird. He delivered his comments around the same time as the tumultuous meeting in Hamptons with Ackman and the crew of pro-Israeli influencers. A month later, Kirk had opened the stage at his Turning Point USA Student Action Summit for a cathartic outpouring of frustration and rage about Israel's political hammerlock on the Trump administration. At the conference, speakers from Carlson to Kelly to the anti-Zionist Jewish comedian David Smith slammed Israel's blood-soaked assault on the besieged Gaza Strip, branded Jeffrey Epstein as an Israeli intelligence asset, and openly taunted Zionist billionaires like Ackman for getting away with scams despite having no actual skills. The mockery by Carlson was particularly galling to Ackman. One day after Turning Point USA's conference, Ackman staged a 4,000 word. Oh my God. When you got to write 4,000 words on Twitter, hang it up, honey child. No one's got time to read all that. I don't got time to read all that. Staged a 4,000. Let me see if it's still up there. Is it still up there? Oh my God, it is. Whoa, he really wrote this. You really wrote this, dude? I mean, my goodness. Look, I don't know if I'm gonna. You know what? Hey, poof. That's a lot to read there. Okay, that's a lot to read there. All right, yeah, I'm just gonna say this right here, right now. I've seen graffiti and profane statements more articulate and getting to the point on Porter Johns when I was serving in my 2 tours in Iraq than that tweet. Okay? Trust me on it. And I think it's a fair comparison. Am I wrong? Type 1 for yes, kid, you're wrong. How dare you? Type 2, nah. Yeah, you're out of line, but you're not wrong. I wonder how many 2s. I wonder how many 2s will show up in the chat in the chat. I wonder. Come on, let's have some fun engagements here. And shout out to my kick people too. Gotta love you guys. Let's see. Hold on. What else we got here? And let's see. Topher 1010 says, "Man, I get kicked out of Twitter, and Sean gets kicked out of Kick." Whoa, who got kicked out of Kick? No one gets kicked out of Kick. Hello. Oh my goodness. Who got kicked out? Who? Oh my goodness. And yes, by the way, I am well aware of my tone here. I'm gonna probably have to fix my lighting. Yes, I'm well aware that I am red, Dr. Nick. Okay. There you go. I am very well aware that I got that I am red. So there you go. But let's continue on. In fact, the 59-year-old manager of Pershing Square Capital Hedge Fund had presided over the precipitous decline in his own fortune through a series of bad bets. Oh, never. Come on, man. Between 2015 and 2018, amid a bull market, Ackman's fund tallied embarrassingly negative returns that cost him an eye-popping $12 billion in loss. Jesus. $12 billion in losses. His holy war to short the multi-level marketing company Herbalife backfired, resulting in the devastating squeeze that cost him heavily. Ackman's financial mishaps forced him to slash 1/5 of the staff in 2018. The billionaire also took issue with Carlson's contention that he had been part of a convicted sex offender and late financier Jeffrey Epstein's constellation of people. Yet Carlson's remarks were grounded in fact. Indeed, Ackman's wife, a celebrity Israeli designer, had gifted the artistic orb to Epstein after he plowed $125K in donations into her media lab at MIT. Wow, plowed is a strong choice of words there. Gray Zone. Why would you put that in there? She was invited to lunch with Epstein on several occasions, according to the Boston Globe, and compiled with MIT's requirement to keep her gift to Epstein confidential. Ackman has significantly elevated his public profile by leading fellow Zionist billionaires in a ruthless crackdown on post-October 7th Palestinian solidarity activism in the U.S. By leveraging his fortune, Ackman helped dislodge a political scientist, Claudia Gay, as president of Harvard University, his alma mater, accusing her of adopting an insufficiently draconian policy towards students protesting Israel's assault on Gaza. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? After weeks of pummeling from Ackman, GOP members of Congress and pro-Israeli media, Gay finally quit from conservative activists, produced evidence that she had plagiarized in her academic writing. While Ackman claimed victory, he howled with indignation when Business Insider returned to favor with detailed article with documented multiple cases of plagiarism by his own wife, the designer Oxman. Oh my goodness. According to the outlet, Oxman stole sentences and whole paragraphs from Wikipedia. Oh, that's first-year college amateur actions. other scholars and technical documents in her academic writing. Ackman responded by announcing that he would fund a plagiarism review of every MIT faculty member. He also delivered a 77-page lawsuit threat to Alex Springer, the publisher of Business Insider, accusing them of publishing claims designed to cause her harm, principality, because of the reporters do not like me, my support for Israel, and my advocacy. He quickly dropped the lawsuit, however, claiming he did so because Springer is an important advocate against anti-Semitism. Oh, my goodness. Well, what can we take away from this? Well, the legacy of Charlie Kirk and his unfortunate demise, I fear, has led to more censorship. And it's going to lead to an outpour of more suppression, tougher guidelines, and I do hope that we have a full awareness of just what's going to be coming down our way. I was warning about this for so many years. I have been trying to tell people about this, especially with the actions that took place under the Biden years, because let's face it, there would not be an infrastructure of censorship were it not for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and so many liberals cheerleading for it. And now here you have Trump in office, and many people are capitalizing on the demise of Charlie Kirk. And I don't think this is something he would want. I don't think he would want anything like this. I don't want anything like this. And I don't want to see people being wrongly persecuted or censored. You know, we stood in solidarity with fellow progressives and independents, and yes, even conservatives and libertarians, when they were being censored and suppressed during the Biden years. And while there are really unhinged, crazy, mentally ill, disturbed, insane people that were cheering for Charlie Kirk's death, and yes, there are people who were smearing and slandering Charlie Kirk as well, I am all on board for constructive criticism. I am all on board for maybe being critical, or maybe, you know, having some, you know, points into Charlie Kirk's talking points. But if you can't say anything, what's the point of having the First Amendment, right? Now, there's always going to be consequences. Absolutely, there will be consequences. You just can't be screaming fire in a movie theater. But what worries me now is that this is what's going to come down our way, and it's going to impact all the platforms like Discord, like X, TikTok, which is now going to be owned by the United States. What does that tell you? It tells you that we need to be careful what you say and do. And I'm still getting a lot of people understanding and seeing and pointing out that, oh my goodness, there's a risk of us being censored and suppressed. There's all this damage that's coming our way. And that's always, for me, as a longtime champion of, you know, standing up against censorship, that this is what could impact us all. So with that being said, you know, can you yell mastermind hour? Can you yell theater in a fire station? If you want to cause World War III, go right ahead, buddy. Let's see. Wait, are you telling me free speech also applies to speech I don't like and agree with politically? Yes. Yes, we all have a right for free speech. I don't encourage violence. And no, look, I really find it disgusting when people are, because here's the thing, there are people on the left, and yes, there are people on the right that I do respect. There are libertarians and Greens and socialists who I do respect, and with their words and their actions. But I don't want to see anything bad happen to them, and I sure as hell don't want to see anybody cheering or dancing should anything negative or horrible happen to them. But at the same time, too, I am not on board for witch hunts. I am not on board for massive people being deplatformed and censored. All right. Now, if you're going to be a scumbag nuisance streamer, a criminal streamer, if you're going to be somebody that's going to be smearing and slandering and putting out false information and causing more hatred and division, then you know what? Accountability. But at the same time, too, if you want to be critical and give your perspective and point of view, and you base it with facts and information, you should have a right to speak out. But what took place this month, last week, Wednesday, I feared the worst. and I see it being implemented. And at least with this article from the Gray Zone, and probably this entire verbal assault that Charlie Kirk got, I can understand where he could be angry and furious. I mean, we still have to question everything that took place on Wednesday, from the actions of the shooter, who he talked to, who he spoke to. Already looking at this stuff, I've even been watching and viewing other content creators who have been covering the potential legal ramifications of this case, that the discovery for the shooter, Tyler Robinson, is going to be out of this world. Because remember, allegedly there's information in which the shooter posted on Discord that he was that guy. He was that guy who committed those actions. So already, like, we're only scratching the surface here. And not to mention, I do have to question the security on the campus, the firearms, how he managed to get it in, and also, again, everything else. Question everything. Question everything. Question everything. Let's see what else we have here. I want to actually engage with the audience here too. Want to engage with the audience. Hold on. What do we got here? And Cobra Commander says, but that's just it, Kit. Hate speech does in fact cause real world violence. The Constitution straight up says that speech is not protected. Love you, Kit, but you are wrong. You know what? Here, Cobra, I'm not going to argue back. I just don't want to see anybody be censored anymore. All right. I really do believe in the First Amendment. It's just, I've been finding myself struggling how to even cover this segment anymore, especially with what happened to Charlie Kirk. I find myself in a little bit of a quandary here, because it's like, I warned about this and I warned about this, and you know what? It sounded crazy. Even way back in 2021, I sounded crazy, and I was like, okay, maybe I need to tone it down just a little bit. But now seeing everything play out, what we went through as a business, and what I've seen other people have gone through, and others are still permanently demonetized or either that permanently censored on various different platforms. I just wonder now if this next iteration, this next wave, once it's fully implemented, who's going to survive it? I mean, will there even be a point of it? That's what worries me here, folks. That maybe this is it, and there's nothing I can really do to say, hey, heads up before you start embracing going after this person or censoring that person or trying to own this person. I'm a little worried here. I'm greatly worried. Let's see. What else we got here? Let's see what else we got here. And Gray Walker joined third party. I agree with that. I draw the line at advocating for harm against others. I don't want to see anybody get harmed. There are a lot of people who I disagree with. I don't want to see them get harmed. I'd rather engage and have a nice conversation with somebody than see them get hurt. I don't want that. And you know what? I hope that they would feel the same way about me. Speech does not do the violence. Absolutely. What else? Let's see. Arctic says, stay safe, Kit. I will try, but I will not make any promises. Let's see. What else we have here? Well, I want to make sure we have a little bit more engagement. And Mastermind Hour says, freedom is scary. Deal with it. Mastermind, when you're right, you're right. And we hold a line, Kit. For all of us here, we have your back. Well, correction. We need to have each other's back. Correction. You're wrong on that. We need to back each other up here, okay? Tight formation. Roman legionnaires pushing forward. Let's see. Benjamin Franklin, good to see you back from the dead, buddy. I think you need to make... Hey, Ben, spend less time flirting with the ladies in France, and get your ass back to Washington, D.C. and start reminding those jag-off politicians just what the hell is up, if you are the real Ben Franklin. Love you all, whether I agree with you or not. We agree on so much, and that is where I will focus. Absolutely, Benjamin Franklin. Ladies and gentlemen, the only man smiling on U.S. currency who was never president, Benjamin Franklin. Let's see. What else we have here? Let's see what else we have here. EMK says self-control is the greatest of all controls. What you do with speech after you've heard it is upon you. And Danny says, stop going raw dog, Kit. Never. I will always go raw dog. And of course, Corporate Commander says, this is Chi-Town. Tired of lies. So step away from that crank pipe, Cobra Commander. No, Cobra Commander, you pick up that crank pipe. Let's see. The whirling noise has been me spinning in my grave. Well, Benji, you need to stop whirling around your grave and bust on out. All right, so hold on. What else we have here? Let's see. Tonight we dine in Chi-Town. What else we have here? And Sean the Accord Lord says, in deep, as we always should. In deep, no pullout. So there you go. And yes, Dan says, how else are we supposed to end up with accidental babies? Absolutely. It's the most fun. No. Let's see what else we have here. And Benjamin Franklin had more French ladies of the evening than I've had $5 bills. Damn, Mastermind. But you always have $5 bills on you, man. You always have $5 bills. Anyways, it's getting late, and I'm gonna have to say this, folks. Yes, I understand that I look red. I'm going to have to fix my lighting just a little bit more here, but I do promise you guys there will be a morning show tomorrow. I just want to let you guys know that I'm alive and well and in one piece. I've got nothing but love for this community. First of all, CB Applejack, first of all, thank you for your $5 super chat. Do appreciate it. Sunshine Lollipops, you actually made me smile. You know what, Sunshine? Oh wait, hold on. There you go. You get a little bit of a knee. There you go. Kit's wearing shorts. Hey, look. Sunshine Lollipop tipped. That was all for Sunshine. So there you go. And the Red Dragon. OMG, you won the lottery and now holding on us. Shame on you. Red Dragon. Look, you know what? First of all, Roger Meadows. Till the day I die, why did you make this urban legend become a thing? And you know what? It's Roger Meadows who said it 2 years ago. No, Barry, it was in 2022. Some person in Illinois won the lottery. It was a lot of money. And Roger Meadows made the accusation that I won the lottery. No, I did not. I did not. That's right. All right, there you go. And EMK says, Kit's putting the hard in the lens. Absolutely. Well, my floppy disk or my hard drive for my computer definitely went floppy on me. So that's pretty sad. So there you go. Yes, the lottery joke. Yes. Got them legs. Yes. Hey. Stop focusing on my knees and start focusing on my message. There you go. All right. But listen, everybody, we're going to have some music by Jesse Jet. And you know what? For all my Kick people right now tuning in, please hit the like button. The show for tomorrow, these next 3 to 5 business days, the show is going to be a little bit shorter because I don't want to put too much pressure on the computer. And you know what? I'm already hearing the system whirl here. So for my Kick people, you're going to have a special end credit. Okay? So if you follow us on Kick, you should. And if you do get a chance, please help support our GoFundMe. Please help us out with our legal fight that we are in. You can find that link on our X account, on our Instagram page, on our Facebook page, on our YouTube page. We do appreciate all the solidarity and support. Nothing but love. So let's play some music by Jesse Jett, of course, because Jesse Jett's so great. I love Jesse Jett. And if you love Jesse Jett, you'll love him too. So Jesse Jett. Jesse Jett. There you go. What? That's not my Jesse Jett. What? Stupid computer. Anyways, here we got Jesse Jett. Where is? Boy, today is not my day. Today is not my day. There you go. All right. There you go. All right, folks. We got music by Jesse Jett. I got nothing but love for this community. Special end credit on the on Kick. My name is Kit. This has been our evening live stream. I'll see y'all on Flipside. I love you. Peace. And I'll see y'all on Kick. Special end credit. Oops. What? No, right here. There you go.
I didn't have to wait for long. I never had to change a song. I just sing it like a raised alarm. Smile when you say I'm wrong. I can't even fade the song. Can't fake while you play the charms. And I don't know the page you're on, but this is where you say you're wrong.
Now's the perfect time for you to burn the bridge to self-forgiveness. Now's the chance, take a stand, stay your hand before you cast another vote for corporate interest. Another vote that chokes your hopes of owning your own home or opening a business. They love to say their hands were tied, the stars just weren't aligned for them to get their votes in line to see their promises delivered. But they killed it in an instant. Bills don't die by accident, they're all assassinated on behalf of the congressionally kismet. By some lobbyists who see themselves as agents of clandestine fate, not fences in a prison. Dealing in the stolen goods of sleeping slaves and trading on the futures of their children. Betting on a spread of daily dead where every grave's creating profit by the millions. For some fascists lurking in the wings and all of their affiliates. And every Etna demigod our senators conduct their darkest dealings with. It really gets impossible to document or fingerprint, cause it isn't just a pattern of corruption, it's the very fabric making up the structure of the system that we're living in. So dash your hopes and down a margarita goes. You box the shadows, take a little nap, and then you get back in and swing again. But if the margarita made you sick, you probably wouldn't take a drink again. So if you're voting either party, honey, think again. I recommend you steel your nerves and never serve an officer, a president, a despot, or a king again. And mark my words, the day will come where we will rise and sing again. And if voting makes you sick, well, no one's forcing you to drink again.
I didn't have to wait for long. I never had to change a song. I just sing it like a raised alarm. Smile when you say I'm wrong. I can't even fade the song. Can't fake while you play the charms. And I don't know the page you're on, but this is where you say you're wrong.
This is where you finally admit you weren't ignorant. You boldly voted Joe like an informed and blissful idiot. You chose to blur the parts of Biden you don't find the prettiest. Now you choose uplifting news and filter out the grittiest. But the truth is something coarse enough that even when it's hidden, it's apparent when you feel it on your fingertips. I know it's hard to deal with from a distance, and up close the truth is hideous. But there's just no getting rid of it. You've gotta let it enter it. Just worries at your skin at every moment, loud or intimate. But shake it off, for fuck's sakes. You don't have to celebrate or be so proud of progress by imaginary increments. You don't have to heap such constant praise on fucking villains. Like their stillborn promises are honestly just isolated incidents and not the product of the principle of privilege. Not intentional eugenics just by any other synonym. Covered up with desperate clusterfucks of rosy images. Labeled plain by any other name except for what the fucking image is. So once you stare the page down enough, you'll spot the difference. That one is red and one is blue, and that's the only truth, because neither one delivers on that promise of deliverance. One is red and one is blue, and that's the only difference. And the rest are isolated and imaginary incidents. One is red, one is blue.